So of course, I felt like a loser, I felt like a failure, I felt like I wasn't making enough progress in life until I stumbled onto this framework that I want to share with you today. If you keep setting goals and not hitting them consistently year after year, this video is going to be for you. And the reason why I know that you're not alone is because 92% of people set goals every year and don't achieve them. And I was one of them. I set goals year after year with big intentions, and then after a month or two or three, they went by the wayside, and I went back to old me, right? So of course, I felt like a loser, I felt like a failure, I felt like I wasn't making enough progress in life until I stumbled onto this framework that I want to share with you today. And this framework is a big part of what helped me go from making $0 in commission my first year in sales and miserable to the #1 rep at Salesforce, to being a head of sales at 25, become a chief revenue officer at the age of 33, and retire from the game at the age of 34. And I'm not special. This framework helped me do that. So what I'm going to walk you through is, #1, what's the pre-work that you need to do before setting goals? Because it's a big mistake most people make when setting goals is they don't do the necessary steps before picking the right goals. And then #2, how do you actually pick the right goals, which is what today's video is going to be all about. How to pick the goals that are going to stick. Because it's not if you're going to face adversity, it's when. So how do you stick to them? And it all comes down to picking the right goals. And last but not least, talking about next steps, how you actually implement them once you put the right goals in place. So let's dig in. So my name is Justin J. Johnson. I run the beautiful Savage Sales Academy. And before I did that, I had a great career, but it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, right? I struggled just like you when I first got into sales, first got into my career, didn't know what to do, and I felt like a failure, right? And then I thought, well, is this what the real life is all about? If it is, then I don't know if this is for me. So I wasn't happy and I wasn't fulfilled. So I knew something needed to change. And setting goals that were the right goals for me was where it all started. So the first thing that I learned that I want to share with you is the mistake that I was making, that most people make, is they don't get clear on two things before they set their goals. And the first thing they don't get clear on is their purpose. Knowing what your purpose is in life and having clarity on it is a prerequisite to setting the right goals for you. Because the way you want to think about your purpose is, what do you want your legacy to be, right? When you look back on your life, right, what do you really want to be the most proud of? What's your North Star, right? I break this down in detail in another video. I won't get into the specifics today, but those are just a couple questions to get the ball rolling for you. So if you've never sat down and do a purpose clarity exercise, do that, and I have a video breaking that down that you could check out and learn from. So that's #1. #2, after you get the purpose and get clear on that, get clear on what your vision is. So when you think about your vision for your life, a great way to think about this is design a perfect day in the life for you. Where are you? Who are you with? What do you do? How do you feel? Try to envision all the 5 senses being brought into this image, because this is going to help you picture what a life on your terms really looks like, right? So having the purpose first and then backing that up with the vision are 2 exercises that are separate exercises. People can confuse them. But if you do the exercises, it's going to already create a big impact on you setting the right goals so that they stick, because most people do not do this exercise. And I have a video breaking down how to do that as well if you want to check it out. But that's the pre-work, okay? So once you have that done, then it's time to pick the right goals. And notice how I say pick the right goals. This is a big mistake most people make, is they just assume that every goal is the right goal for them, aspirational goals. So because of that, they put all the things that they want on their goals list, and you don't get what you want. You get what you have to have, also known as your must, also known as your non-negotiables. So this is an exercise that's going to help you identify what are your non-negotiables. Now, what we're going to look at isn't just how to help you set goals that are must achieves for you in your selling profession, but the key to winning in life is winning in all phases of your life. And sales in your career is just one level of it. So there's actually 6 areas that you're going to want to set goals and pick the right goals on that are right for you. And I'm going to outline the 6 areas and then tell you what to do with it. So the first area is your body. So this is literally think about your health, your vitality, how you look and feel, those types of things. That's your body. Second is your relationships. What are your relationships in your life? That's your spouse, relatives, friends and family, people that you care about, so on and so forth. So those are all the things that you want to care about second. Third is, what about your time? So this is literally how you run your day, or does your day run you? So you're having goals around that. 4 is your career. So this is your day job, your future aspirational goals, whatever that is. Next is your finances. So this is exactly as it sounds, your money, and then making sure that's in the right place. And then last but not least is your experiences in life. So think about this as your memories that you're making, because life is simply just a series of memories. So let's make them. So once you have the 6 areas identified, what I want you to do is step 1, get yourself in the right state. State is everything when you think about picking the right goals. A great way to jumpstart getting yourself in the right state is moving your body through doing a workout, going on a walk, whatever it is, something that makes you feel really good, and your physiology and moving, getting the blood flowing. That's the best way to get started there. So getting yourself in the right state, listening to your favorite music, things that really get you in a really good headspace. Because a lot of times when people set goals, they're not in the right state when they set goals in the first place. So they're already setting themselves up for failure. So you want to get yourself in the right state before setting the goals. So that's number 1. Once you get yourself in the right state, then what I want you to do is sit down by yourself, away from distractions. I typically recommend getting out of your normal environment. So if you work from home or you work in an office, go to a coffee shop, go to a library, go to a park, whatever is best for you, but something where you can be alone and distraction free for a couple hours. Now, then once you do that, fine, put yourself in the right environment. Then what you're going to do is you're going to create a laundry list of all your goals. We're going to trim this down, but first we need to exhaust the list. So what I want you to think about is literally put a timer on your phone for 10 to 15 minutes for each of these categories. So 10 minutes for body, 10 minutes for relationships, so on and so forth. And during that 10 minutes, you're only allowed to write down goals related to that specific category. And don't stop writing until the timer goes off. Now, what goals are you supposed to write down? Every goal. Big goals, small goals, silly goals, incredible goals, right? Unrealistic goals, conservative goals, whatever they are. Write them all down for the category, okay? And you're going to repeat that same process for each of these different parts of your life. And what you'll see is there's going to be a long list of things you need to accomplish for each of the areas, but then you're already going to start to realize that, of course, not everything is a must for you. But more importantly, some of these goals just are things that aren't a priority in any way, shape, or form, so you're immediately going to eliminate them. What you're also going to find is you're going to feel really good after going through this exercise. So enjoy yourself. This should be fun. This is helping you transform your life. So enjoy this process, right? So after you write down all the goals for each of the categories, then what I want you to do is simply start to stack rank them. So if you have 10 goals related to your relationships in your life, let's say having a much better relationship with your spouse or your kids or your friends, right? What I want you to do is stack rank the ones that are most important to you And then from there, that's going to help you prioritize, okay? Because if everything's a priority, then nothing's a priority. So step one is stack ranking them. And a great way to help you stack rank them is understanding the consequences of not doing it. Because people naturally run away from pain more than they're willing to run towards pleasure. So if you think about the cost of inaction, aka what will happen if you don't achieve the goals, the pain you're going to feel, the consequences that you're going to get, that's a great way to help you prioritize the goals. So you're going to stack rank them. After you stack rank them, then what you're going to do is you're going to identify just the top 2 or 3. Okay? Now, this might be a tough decision because sometimes let's say if it's going back to the relationships analogy, you're going to have a goal to have a better relationship with your spouse, a better relationship with your parents, a better relationship with your best friend growing up, a better relationship with your colleagues and coworkers, right? And you can't prioritize everything at once. So what you're going to do is identify which are the ones that are near-term consequences if you don't achieve them. And that's going to help you prioritize accordingly. And you're going to pick the top 2 or 3, no more than that for each of the category. You repeat this exercise on an ongoing basis. So just because something's off the list right now doesn't mean it can't get on the list down the line. Okay, so don't feel bad about leaving something off the list. What you're doing here is you're setting yourself up for success, right? You're creating a way for you to build momentum in your life. And the more momentum you have, the more goals you can accomplish in the long run. Because people overestimate what they can accomplish in a year and underestimate what they can accomplish in a decade, right? So we're thinking long term here, but we're going to be tackling the goals in short time frames. So identify what your top 2 or 3 are. And then after you do that, then you start to think about, okay, well, how do I go about accomplishing them? This is when you start to think about your daily rituals and habits. And this is where the next steps come in. What you're going to do after you identify your top 2 or 3 in each of these areas, and if you think about all these areas, it doesn't have to be 3, it could be 1, right? If your major goal in your career is getting promoted, right, in the next 6 months, whatever that may be for you. But relationships, you have 2 goals. Time management, you have 1 goal, right? You don't have to have 3, but you don't have more than 3, okay? So if you outline what that looks like, that's anywhere from 6 to 18 goals, which is a lot of goals. So then what you're going to do is, in the next steps, you're going to work towards implementing that. And this is where you want to build in exercises to put goal setting frameworks together. I'm a big fan of the SMART framework. If you're not familiar with the SMART framework, you can Google it. I'm going to do another video to break it down as well. But the SMART goal setting framework is a great way for you to break these down in a way that you could take action on them and hold yourself accountable to get a lot of clarity on them. But where a lot of people struggle is they'll do the SMART goal setting framework, or they'll use a different goal setting framework. But the problem is they picked the wrong goals all along. That's what today was all about. It's picking the right goals, your non-negotiables that you have to have. So picking them is most important. Then you you outline and implement a SMART goal setting framework. And then from there, then you outline the rituals, the daily rituals that enable you to hit the milestones that you're going to set when you do the SMART goal setting framework. So I hope this was helpful. If you have questions, don't hesitate to let me know. My name is Justin J. Johnson, founder and creator of the Beautiful Savage Sales Academy. And looking forward to see your transformation. I'll see you in the next video.